right, here we are still in 8.5, and this is compound fractions or complex fractions. You see them both ways. So for a basic complex fraction, well, essentially a complex fraction is a fraction over a fraction, essentially. So basically for simplifying complex fractions, essentially you're dividing, right? A fraction is dividing. So we're going to do the same thing we did when we were dividing rational expressions, where we're going to flip and multiply. So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. So we still have x squared over 3 on top, but then we're going to flip the denominator and multiply. So we're going to multiply by x over 1. So we're just going to flip the denominator. So essentially what that is doing is I have x over 1 and I have x over 1. So this x over 1 is going to cancel, and then all I have to deal with is this one. So that's why this whole flip and multiply thing works. Okay, so then we just multiply across. So we have x cubed over 3. So that's kind of the simple version of when you have a complex fraction. The more complex version would be this, where we actually have a sum in the denominator. So we have to actually take care of this first. We have to find our common denominator and combine these two fractions before we can flip and multiply. Because we can't just multiply. Well, yeah. We can't just multiply by this again, because then we'd have to distribute and it would be all kinds of mess. So we're going to find our common denominator, put our fractions together, and then flip and multiply. So the common denominator here, so we have x minus 5, or x over 5 on the top. Our common denominator here is going to be x squared, right? Because we have x squared over here, and then we have x. So x times x is x squared, so that works. So we're going to use x squared as our new denominator. So for this, in order to get x squared on the bottom, I need to multiply top and bottom by x. So I'm going to have 25x plus 2. So that's my new fraction. So then I can flip and multiply. So I'm going to multiply by x squared over 25 x plus 2. So you can see that these would all cancel, which is why we're allowed to do this. So here we're going to get x cubed on top, and then in the denominator we're going to have 5 times 25x is 50x plus 10. And that would be our final answer. So basically, you treat this, the bigger fraction line, you treat that just like division. So you're just going to do the flip and multiply thing that we did with division. But if you have a sum or a difference in the denominator, then you have to get a common denominator and combine those into one first, and then you can flip and multiply. All right. I will see you guys in the next video, which is going to be starting 8.6. Or it could be a Khan Academy. We'll see.